Lagar went back to Grandmaster Glox in Kabylis to show him how far he has come. But the Guildmaster was not that impressed with a simple level 50. You still have a long way to go, young lizard. And the way was literally long. Lagar made the same journey to South Row as he had done with Bontek many moons ago. But he was much stronger now, which meant the journey was not dangerous anymore. It just took some time. He was joining his guild to venture into the Plane of Hate and face the Prince of Hate himself, Innoruuk, a god worshipped by many races in Norrath. The young monk doubted they would be able to kill a god, but his guild was experienced and had many level 60s already. This would be the first raid of his life, so Lagar was apprehensive. He got to South Row at night, and in the next morning he received the raid invite. The guild met under a tree next to the dreadful Spectre Island, the remains of what once was the Oasis of Mar. He didn't know if it was the desert sun, the crowded area, or his restlessness, but Lagar felt a strong urge to go for a swim to cool him off. Maybe he was just showing off his swimming skills to his fellow guildies. But that reminded him of a cool trinket he had earned by just showing up to a raid as a level 1 on Vaniki's server, the Ashen Ampule, a magical device that summoned a refreshing drink that boosted his AC, HP, mana and endurance. What a powerful vitamin water! Someone in the guild was offering some food that boosted the same stats as well. Lagar asked for some of that enchanted protein bar while moving his magical drink to the top spot of his first bag. Drinks are drank and food is eaten in order, from left to right, top to bottom in the inventory. This was needed so Lagar would not eat or drink regular food and water instead of these delicious new treats. After receiving his new food, Lagar organized it in his inventory the same way he did with his magical drink. Everyone was now ready to travel to another plane of existence. Lagar reappeared next to a well on what seemed to be a great city. But he was not fooled. He could feel the anger and hatred in the air. He tried to look up and see the sky and the stars, but it was all pitch black above them. They were not in Norrath anymore. Lagar was paralyzed, not because of the hateful mobs. They were dying too fast with so many people in the raid. The real problem was the amount of loot he had to go through in the loot window to see what he was supposed to need and what he was supposed to greed. At first, he started always greeding on each item after checking them. Then he gave up on checking each item one by one. Otherwise, he would just stand there. He just put greed on everything. He started fighting his first raid mob, an abhorrent. Not long after, Lagar had a problem in another plane of existence, the plane of real life. On his first raid night, his young daughter woke up and had to be tucked into sleep once again. The monk just auto-followed Aramis and hoped for not getting stuck in some wall. While away, Lagar walked through the streets of the Plane of Hate, passing by Gothic buildings and under the flying buttress arches that supported their weight. Finally back, Lagar started hitting a spite golem. Then he looked at the loot window once again and got buried under so many loot unknown to him. While there were many mobs engaged with the raid, Lagar took his time to see if there was something for a monk for him to roll. The loot window just kept getting bigger and bigger. He went back to the fight and took a look at the map. On their way to Innoruuk, the raid fought many of his lieutenants, like the Lord of Lair, High Priest and Carry, Lord of Loathing, and even the famous Maestro of Rancor. The sound of the pipe organ could be heard from outside the cathedral as the raid approached the building. The Maestro was playing. He didn't care to stop playing even when 72 people entered his domain. Maybe he was just too focused on the music, or maybe this was his way of intimidating the raid. The music was majestic. The Maestro turned back to fight, but the muse kept on playing. Lagar and the others fought a spite golem before moving on to the Maestro. He played better than he fought, so the fight was an easy one. Even after his death, the music was still on. The hand of the Maestro needed to be defeated. Finally, the music died down and they continued their way to Innoruuk. Some Innoruuk's chosen tried to stop the raid from advancing, to no avail. Grandmaster Artal was easily dispatched as well. Some more Innoruuk's chosen were guarding the room where Innoruuk was supposedly staying. Lagar would have his first encounter with a god, his first raid boss. He was relying on the group to succeed. It was time. The raid engaged Innoruuk. Lagar joined the fight with courage in his heart. Hate would not be allowed to thrive. The Prince of Hate fought well, but he was no match for the Min-Max guild. Lagar was ecstatic. He slayed the god and successfully completed his first raid without dying. He took a mental picture in his mind as to not forget this moment. But the night was far from over. They were back at South Row. The chilling winds of the desert night were a refreshing layer on top of the adrenaline-filled body of the monk. Their next destination was Nagafen's Lair, at the Lava Storm Mountains. To get there, they had to cross over to the North Desert of Ro and into the Commonlands Tunnel. The group passed the undead ruins where they found Hahotep when Lagar first left Kunark many moons ago. Oh, the memories. With the Bard's song, Sello's song of travel, they were moving at an incredible speed. Not only were they moving fast, but they were also invisible. And to top it off, they were also levitating. Lagar was as high as the treetops of the Commonlands. From here, they moved to Nectulus Forest, a dark place that held the entrance to Neriak, the underground city of the Dark Elves. The trees were taller there, but the group kept moving. They would soon reach the Lava Storm Mountains. When grass gave way to the rocky ground and burned trees, Lagar knew they were getting close. After fighting the immense load times from one zone to the other at that fateful night, Lagar and his friends were finally at the Lava Storm Mountains. The heat from the burning fires were intense, but it did not stop the group from finding Nagafen's lair. Some people from the raid were already there, and more were already inside the lair. Lagar tried talking to the Agent of Change, the one responsible for granting him access, but Lagar was being ignored. He tried again and nothing. Yeah, he forgot he was invisible. After Gulliver stopped playing the travel song, Lagar finally got the attention of the AOC. But there were many people talking to him. Lagar said ready a couple of times before being granted access to Nagafen's lair. Inside, the lava flowed freely, and a path of dead fire giant warriors announced that the raid was already at the throne room, waiting for Nagafen. And inside the throne room, it was a slaughterfest. Lagar positioned himself and waited for Nagafen to be pulled. Some time later, a couple fire giant warriors came running up the stairs, and Nagafen surprised the people waiting for him by coming behind them. The raid was in disarray. The red dragon was huge, and Lagar could not see his head. People were told to move to the other staircase and wait for the tank to grab Nagafen. Or were they? Lagar couldn't hear the raid leader over the sound of flapping wings and fire-breathing attacks. Lagar moved in to fight Lord Nagafen. He got out to not get feared and got in again. But as soon as he started punching again, he got feared. As he regained his consciousness, he was finally well positioned for the fight. He hid behind the wall to not get feared this time. His group was being heavily damaged. Some people ran away in fear, but not Lagar. He was back at the fight. He tried going up the stairs to get some healing, but he was now face to face with a red dragon. This would not end well. Fortunately, someone turned him for a while. Lagar did not get his heal, Gulliver was down, and he did not want to be face to face with a fire-breathing dragon. So he went up to the other side of the wall, where the clerics were, hoping to get a heal. But it did not happen. Montague was now down. Lagar thought about going in, but then went back. With that low life, he would probably end up dead. The monk decided to give it a go. Let's hope for the best. As predicted, he did not make it. A fire giant warrior got him in 2 hits, but the raid successfully defeated Lord Nagafen. He was raised by a follower of Innoruuk. Strange how they turn on their gods so fast if they have some loot. After dying, Lagar did not want to be this weak again, so he knew he had to get to level 60 and become a Grandmaster. He would go back to Kunark and into the fortress of his sworn enemies, Chardok, the ancient military fortress of the Sarnak. If you like this type of content, make sure to subscribe to keep following the journey of Lagar and his friends. Thank you for watching. Like this video and share it with your friends as well. Until next time.